Have you ever made $50,000 in 1 week? If you haven't, I want you to stick around and I'm going to tell you exactly how I did and how you can do it. And if you have, I wonder if we can turn that into 2 times that amount or even 3 or 4 times that amount in 1 week with the same instruction. It's not as difficult as it may seem, and it's not as far-fetched as it may sound. There's a way to do this. Now, it may not be 50,000 for you. It may be 5,000. It may be 10,000. It may be some number that is very significant to you at this time in your life. But it's pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to make a cool offer, a new offer to an old audience, right? Something fresh for people who already know you. We spend a lot of time thinking about how do we get more customers? How do we get new people to see us and discover us every single day? That actually happens on YouTube. YouTube helps people discover me every single day. In fact, if you are discovering me for the first time today, let me know in the comments because it happens every day. Thousands of people come to this channel and they see my videos. And that's very cool. And you're going to need that fresh energy, those new leads on a daily basis to have a growing, thriving business of any type. But a lot of times we forget the people who have already worked with us, the people who have already spent money and time and energy with us, that we spent time, money, and energy perhaps finding or attracting. They are not just one-time buyers. There is a group of your buyers who will go on to invest in you and invest in themselves through you over and over and over again. And if you're not speaking to that group on a regular basis, you are leaving money on the table and you're also doing a disservice to them because you probably still have more to offer them in the way of help. So let's think through this. A very practical way of doing this is to put together a list. So you can get a spreadsheet together of former clients, former customers, or current ones. And you can say, okay, how have I helped them over the years or over the past few months? How have I helped them? And what is that next step that each of them could use? What could I offer them based on what they've already partaken in that would be even more helpful? And then you could go to them as a group with an email sequence or invite them to a webinar or a call. And as a group, you could pitch your offer, or you could one by one send a text message, send an email, send a WhatsApp, send a DM. If you have members of your membership right now who pay to get in, you could DM them on your membership one by one. You're not spamming. You're not going out and doing all this crazy automated stuff because you want to actually, you want to know who you're talking to, and you might even want to address them specifically, especially depending on the price of the new offer. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll tell you what I mean in just a moment, in a very specific way. So think about that. People who have already paid, people who have already said yes to you. It costs a lot more to get a new customer than to maintain a current one. So much, much less. They talk about this in the office where Ryan is getting his MBA and he talks to Michael about that, right? It's so true. Another version of this where you might be leaving money on the table is, do you have a list? Have you put together a list of people, and you can do it today if you haven't, so don't worry, of people who have gone on maybe sales calls with you or have gone to your webinars. Sometimes we'll do webinars or we'll do workshops, free or low ticket, and we'll do them on Zoom. And 50 people show up or 10 people show up or whatever, and we never go back and look in the reports section of our Zoom account and go back and look at those email signups. The people who signed up with you, signed up to see something. Now, you may say, okay, I had 50 people on a call, two people purchased what I pitched to them, and that's the end of the story. No, it's not. What you can do is you can go back and do a blast, an email blast to them because they've signed in, right? They've opted in. You can say, I have this new offer. We spoke, we had that webinar 2 months ago, and I wanted to tell you about something. How are things going? And I wanted to tell you about how things are for me. And you can do that. Now, if you've had sales calls where the person said no or they ghosted, you can do the same. Take it even further and put them into an email sequence we've talked about recently, an email sequence where it's a nurture sequence. So they sign up to a webinar. If you are not, having a webinar coming up, one of the things you want to do is you want to email right after the webinar everybody who signed up, even if they didn't show up, because you can see it parsed out on Zoom who showed up, who didn't. Email everyone and say, here's the replay. Or say the replay is available in this container. And maybe the container is included in the offer, right? Like the offer itself is a membership and the replay is in that membership. That could be one way. Or you could just say simply, here's the replay, because that replay serves as a VSL, a video sales letter for you. But you get back in touch with them immediately. Now you have that foresight, you get back in touch with them. And then you potentially put them into an email sequence, a nurture sequence, where every 2-3 days they get another email from you. And it's talking about, here's a way I can help you. Here's a video that you should watch. Here's an article that I read that I'm going to give you my thoughts on. And then every once in a while, every 2 to 3 of those emails could be an offer. Same offer or something like a down sale. Or you could be a reminder, hey, we have payment plans. So if it's been a struggle for you, you want to join, but you're not able to, we have payment plans, payment options. And then if you don't have that foresight, you can always go back, throw them into a CSV spreadsheet and add them. Now, a lot of times a reputable site is going to ask them if they want to opt in and receive that email. Good. You don't want a bunch of people mad at you. So that's a really good thing. You know what one of my favorite things in the world is when it comes to online sales is the unsubscribe button. Honestly, the unsubscribe button is one of my favorite things, of course, for myself, because I don't want to be on everybody's list. And sometimes you're on a list you didn't sign up for. People out here selling lists. But mostly because I know that if I send an email out and I send another email and another email, the person on the other end of that has that full right and ability to unsubscribe and not get the information from me. So I'm not making this up. I honestly like to see unsubscribes when I send out an email blast, because it tells me, okay, cool. The people who didn't want that, they're out. They don't want to be disturbed by me. And the people who didn't unsubscribe are still willing to hear from me today and tomorrow and the next day. And so it's it's a true filter. It's a filter of I want to be on it or not. So when you're sending out these emails and you're reaching out to people, give them an option to not hear from you. You say, if you're doing DMs, for instance, you can say, listen, I'm going to tell you, we haven't talked in a while. I'm going to tell you about this offer I have because I think it'll help you. If you don't want to hear these types of messages from me, just let me know. Right? You're not going to harass them. Now, I told you I would tell you how I made $50,000 in a week. And the great thing about this too was that first of all, I didn't realize I had, because I wasn't aiming for an amount. I was more so concerned about the offer itself because I really wanted to offer this to this group of people. And then second of all, it came with so much value that I was able to give without such a heavy lift on my side. That it was very rewarding to do this as well. So it was a win-win. I was able to get a little bit of capital to come in. And I say little bit, I don't want to be cheeky, but um, $50,000 is, a good amount of money relative to anything. But it is, 2 weeks basically of my income. And I was also able to make this incredible offer that I think fosters more brand loyalty in my customers and makes them feel very good. So what this offer was, and maybe you can copy this if you have any kind of program like this, is I have an inner circle program, and it's year round, so you pay a certain amount per year, and um, it's capped at 100 people lifetime. So you can't get in it right now because it's 100 people are in it and nobody's leaving anytime soon. They're holding on to their seats. And if they do decide to leave, they get to choose if they want to bring someone else in to take their place. So even though there's a wait list kind of unofficially, the wait list we won't get to the wait list and forever. So what I did was many of them um, their next year that they're going to pay for is going to be, call it August of 2026, and it's September 2025 right now. Let's say maybe it was going to be um, December of 2025. It was going to be either 1 to 12 months from the time that I reached out to them. Okay, and it was going to be like they were going to pay several $1,000s for the next 12 months for the future 12 months. I sent out a message to all Inner Circle members offering $1,500, and you get extra months to take you through the end of 2026. So depending on how early you got in or when your payment cycle is, because of how early you got in, the higher the bargain, basically, right? The higher the value. So some people were going to get 6 months for the price. So, 40% off essentially. Some people were going to get a lot more than that. Some people were going to kind of in the middle. So 35 of 100 in 1 week instantly took that. They're like, yeah, of course, I'm getting so much value from this. It's already like the lowest price that it should be. I mean, it's way lower than it should be, right? And now I'm going to get extra, and I get to think about, okay, I get to work in this group till the end of 2026. So it's kind of like massages the mind a little bit, at least for me. And from my perspective, it helps me know, okay, I can make these plans for this month, next year, way out in advance. And I know that I, have those different things going. And it kind of pulls people and pulls them to the same dates. So it's super helpful for me just with planning and just with ease. It's super valuable to them because they get to have, bonus months essentially, depending on when they joined. And the price point was significant enough that having a third or so of my audience say yes was significant. So if you think about this for yourself and you have any type of audience, I know that a lot of people who watch my videos have no audience yet. They haven't sold online yet. I totally get that. But there's this good number of people who do and who have. And I want you to think about, when's the last time I reached out to those 50 odd customers, or the number of customers that I've had the last 2, 3 years? Whether you do high ticket or mid, low ticket, is there something I can go back to them with and relate it to the fact that they've already worked with me in some way? Relate it to the fact that they took that course, or at least they bought that course. You could write a message and say, hey, did you have a chance to take the course? You could hit them with a statistic. 80% of people who buy courses don't finish them. What percentage are you? What group are you in? If you're having trouble getting through the course, do you want to jump on 4 live sessions that I'm doing as a group workshop for $497? right? There are different things you can do. So there's a hidden treasure in your inbox. There's a hidden treasure in different things that you sold, different lists that you have. Put them on a list, tag them, and think about how can I serve this person even better. You've probably learned a lot in the last few months. You certainly learned a lot in the last year. You must have. What could you pass on to someone else? What did you figure out in the last 12 months that will help your customers go even further than they ever have before?